Welcome back to the channel. Today we are taking a close look at Bharat Heavy Electricals Limited, or BHEL. It's a major player in India's engineering and manufacturing sector, a Maharatna CPSE.
That's right. BHEL is a massive public sector undertaking, primarily involved in the design, engineering, manufacture, construction, testing, commissioning, and servicing of a wide range of products and services for core sectors of the economy, mainly power generation and industry. They have a huge footprint.
Indeed, so BHEL has released its audited financial results, both standalone and consolidated, for the quarter and financial year ended March 31st, 2025. The Board of Directors approved these results in their meeting held on May 16, 2025. They've also recommended a final dividend.
Yes, a final dividend of 25%, which comes out to 50 paise per share on a face value of 2 rupees per share for the financial year 2024-25. This, of course, is subject to shareholder approval at the annual general meeting.
Good to know. Let's dive into the numbers. We'll start with the standalone financials for the fourth quarter of FY25. How did BHEL perform on revenue? Let's look at the year-over-year comparison first.
Okay, for the standalone results, in Q4 FY25, revenue from operations stood at 8,993.37 crore rupees. This is up compared to 8,260.25 crore rupees in Q4 FY24. That's a decent year-over-year growth for the quarter.
And what about the quarter-over-quarter performance for revenue?
Quarter-over-quarter, revenue also saw a significant jump from 7,277.09 crore rupees in Q3 FY25. So strong sequential growth as well in the fourth quarter.
Now, let's talk about EBITDA for standalone Q4. YoY first.
For standalone Q4 FY25, EBITDA was 990.47 crore rupees. This is up from 892.78 crore rupees in Q4 FY24. So a good year-over-year increase in EBITDA.
And how does that standalone Q4 EBITDA look quarter-over-quarter?
Sequentially, it's a very strong improvement. EBITDA in Q3 FY25 was 420.48 crore rupees, so it has more than doubled in Q4.
Moving to profit before tax or PBT for standalone Q4. How's the YoY?
Standalone PBT for Q4 FY25 was 704.02 crore rupees, up from 631.06 crore rupees in Q4 FY24. A healthy YoY growth.
And QoQ for standalone PBT?
Quarter-over-quarter, PBT also showed remarkable growth, up from 168.82 crore rupees in Q3 FY25.
And the bottom line profit after tax or PAT for standalone Q4? YoY comparison.
Standalone PAT for Q4 FY25 came in at 504.05 crore rupees. This is an increase from 484.36 crore rupees in Q4 FY24.
Okay, and the QoQ for standalone PAT?
Sequentially, PAT also surged from 124.77 crore rupees in Q3 FY25.
What about the earnings per share EPS for standalone Q4?
The standalone basic EPS for Q4 FY25 was 1.45 rupees, up from 1.39 rupees in Q4 FY24. Quarter-over-quarter, it was up from 0.36 rupees in Q3.
Any significant other income in the standalone Q4 results?
Yes, other income for standalone Q4 FY25 was 158.79 crore rupees. This is slightly down from 164.92 crore rupees in Q4 FY24, but up from 116.24 crore rupees in Q3 FY25.
Now let's quickly touch upon the full year standalone performance for FY25 compared to FY24.
For the full financial year FY25, standalone revenue from operations was 28,339.48 crore rupees, up from 23,892.78 crore rupees in FY24. Standalone EBITDA for FY25 was 1,744.96 crore rupees, a significant jump from 1,200.52 crore rupees in FY24. PBT for FY25 stood at 724.67 crore rupees, a massive increase from 220.33 crore rupees in FY24. And PAT for FY25 was 512.97 crore rupees, up from 259.89 crore rupees in FY24. The basic EPS for FY25 was 1.47 rupees compared to 0.75 rupees in FY24.
That's a strong full-year standalone performance. Now let's shift to the consolidated financials for Q4 FY25. How did revenue look on a consolidated basis, YoY, and then QoQ?
On a consolidated basis for Q4 FY25, revenue from operations was also 8,993.37 crore rupees, which is the same as standalone, indicating inter-segment revenues are nil for this reporting. This is up from 8,260.25 crore rupees in Q4 FY24. Quarter over quarter, it's up from 7,277.09 crore rupees in Q3 FY25.
And consolidated EBITDA for Q4, YoY, and QoQ?
Consolidated EBITDA for Q4 FY25 was 980.95 crore rupees, up from 884.45 crore rupees in Q4 FY24. Sequentially, it jumped from 412.15 crore rupees in Q3 FY25.
What about consolidated profit before tax PBT for Q4, YoY, and QoQ? Remember, this includes the share of profit from joint ventures.
Right? The consolidated PBT for Q4 FY25, which includes the share of profit from JVs, was 704.42 crore rupees. This is up from 636.32 crore rupees in Q4 FY24. Quarter over quarter, it's a significant rise from 178.75 crore rupees in Q3 FY25. The profit before tax and before share of JVs was 694.50 crore rupees in Q4 FY25.
And the consolidated profit after tax PAT for Q4, YoY, and QoQ.
Consolidated PAT for Q4 FY25 stood at 504.45 crore rupees, up from 489.62 crore rupees in Q4 FY24. Sequentially, this is a big jump from 134.70 crore rupees in Q3 FY25.
And the consolidated EPS for Q4?
Consolidated basic EPS for Q4 FY25 was 1.45 rupees, slightly up from 1.41 rupees in Q4 FY24 and up from 0.39 rupees in Q3.
Any notable other income in the consolidated Q4 results?
Consolidated other income for Q4 FY25 was 149.27 crore rupees. This is slightly down from 156.59 crore rupees in Q4 FY24, but up from 107.91 crore rupees in Q3 FY25.
And a quick summary of the full year consolidated performance for FY25 versus FY24.
For the full year FY25, consolidated revenue was 28,339.48 crore rupees, up from 23,892.78 crore rupees in FY24. Consolidated EBITDA for FY25 was 1,706.88 crore rupees, up from 1,158.87 crore rupees in FY24. Consolidated PBT for FY25 was 745.60 crore rupees, a substantial increase from 242.66 crore rupees in FY24. Consolidated PAT for FY25 was 533.90 crore rupees, up significantly from 282.22 crore rupees in FY24. And the consolidated basic EPS for FY25 was 1.53 rupees compared to 0.81 rupees in FY24.
That's a comprehensive look at the numbers. What about profitability margins? How do they look for Q4 and the full year, comparing standalone and consolidated?
For Q4 FY25, standalone EBITDA margin was about 11.01% and net profit margin was 5.60%. On a consolidated basis for Q4, EBITDA margin was 10.91% and net profit margin was also 5.61%. For the full year FY25, standalone EBITDA margin was around 6.16% and net profit margin was 1.81%. Consolidated full-year EBITDA margin was 6.02% and net profit margin was 1.88%. The margins are quite similar between standalone and consolidated. The quarterly margins are notably stronger than the full-year average, indicating a strong finish to the year.
Were there any exceptional items reported in these results?
No, the results, both standalone and consolidated, do not show any exceptional items. This gives us a cleaner view of the operational performance. The consolidated results do include the share of profit or loss from joint ventures, which for Q4 FY25 was a profit of 9.92 crore rupees.
Let's touch upon the balance sheet. Any key highlights from the standalone and consolidated balance sheets as of March 31st, 2025?
On the standalone side, as of March 31st, 2025, total assets stood at 68,479.32 crore rupees, up from 59,413.85 crore rupees a year ago. Total equity increased to 25,113.01 crore rupees from 24,850.59 crore rupees. On the consolidated side, total assets were 68,083.18 crore rupees, up from 59,001.92 crore rupees. Total equity stood at 24,722.16 crore rupees, up from 24,438.65 crore rupees. Key movements include increases in inventories and trade receivables on both standalone and consolidated books.
How about the cash flow situation for FY25? And you mentioned the dividend earlier.
For FY25, standalone net cash from operating activities was positive at 2,191.89 crore rupees, a significant improvement from a negative 3,712.90 crore rupees in FY24. Consolidated net cash from operating activities was also positive at 2,191.89 crore rupees for FY25. Regarding dividends, the cash flow statement shows a dividend payment of 87.44 crore rupees during FY25, which would be for the previous financial year FY23-24. The newly declared dividend of 50 paise per share for FY24-25 will be paid in FY25-26 after shareholder approval.
Now let's break down the performance by BHEL's key segments, power and industry. How did they fare in Q4 and for the full year FY25 starting with standalone?
Okay, on a standalone basis for Q4 FY25, the power segment reported revenue of 6,192.41 crore rupees and a profit before tax and finance cost of 308.11 crore rupees. The industry segment reported revenue of 2,800.96 crore rupees and a profit before tax and finance cost of 877.32 crore rupees. For the full year FY25 standalone, power segment revenue was 20,937.25 crore rupees, with a profit of 1,216.02 crore rupees. Industry segment revenue was 7,402.23 crore rupees, with a profit of 1,262.45 crore rupees. So the industry segment showed significantly higher profitability relative to its revenue size in Q4 and strong profit for the full year.
And how do these segment numbers look on a consolidated basis?
The segment revenues and results before tax and finance costs are identical for standalone and consolidated, as BHEL currently does not have subsidiaries that would alter these segment figures, and its JVs are accounted for using the equity method after the segment PBIT. So the performance drivers within power and industry are the same for both.
Interesting. Now, the notes to the accounts often contain crucial information. Were there any significant notes or events highlighted by BHEL?
Yes, there are a few important ones, applicable to both standalone and consolidated results. First, Note 9 mentions trade receivables include an overdue amount of 211 crore rupees from a customer, STPG, formerly NEC Sudan, stuck due to civil war. This has been considered good and no provision has been made. If it were provided for, the profit before tax would reduce by 211 crore rupees. Second, Note 10 points to debtors of 208 crore rupees against RVUNL Suratgarh project, which are over 3 years from trial operation. Again, no provision is made, with the company stating payment is under process. If this were provided, PBT would reduce by a net of 168 crore rupees. Third and very significantly, Note 11 states that the company has changed its practice for vacating provisions against contractual obligations where a performance guarantee test is not a prerequisite as per contract. Due to this change, provisions of 118.47 crore rupees were vacated during the year, which increased profits. On the consolidated side, Note 13 details the joint ventures, which include BHEL GE, Gas Turbine Services, Raichur Power Corporation, NTPC BHEL Power Projects, Power Plant Performance Improvements Limited, which is under liquidation and not consolidated, and Bharat Coal Gasification and Chemicals Limited. The company states it does not have any subsidiaries or associates during the year.
Those are indeed critical points, especially the non-provisioning for large receivables and the change in provision vacation practice. Now, a very important part, the auditor's report. What did the auditors PSMG and Associates and ABP and Associates say about the standalone financials?
For the standalone financials, the auditors issued an unmodified opinion. However, they included an emphasis of matter paragraph, drawing attention to the very same notes we just discussed. Note 9 regarding the non-provision for overdue amounts from STPG, formerly NEC Sudan. Note 10 regarding the balance of debtors from RVUNL Suratgarh. Note 11 concerning the change in practice for vacating provisions against contractual obligations PG test. The auditors state their opinion is not modified in respect of these matters. They also mentioned in other matters that they relied on the audit reports of 14 branches audited by other auditors, which represent significant assets and revenue.
And what about the auditor's report on the consolidated financials? Any differences there?
The consolidated financial statements also received an unmodified opinion with the same emphasis of matter points related to notes 9, 10, and 11 of the standalone financials, as these directly impact the consolidated figures too. Under other matters for the consolidated report, in addition to relying on branch auditors for the standalone component, the auditors highlighted they did not audit the financial statements of the joint venture BHEL Gas Turbine Services Private Limited BGGTS, whose financials are unaudited. The group's share of net profit from BGGTS was 59.01 crore rupees for FY25. Their opinion relies on these unaudited financials furnished by management. They also did not audit the financials of two other JVs, Raichur Power Corporation Limited and NTPC-BHEL Power Projects Private Limited. These are also unaudited, and the company has already recognized accumulated losses equal to its investment cost, so no further share of loss is included. For the JV Bharat Coal Gasification and Chemicals Limited (BCGCL), its financials were audited by another auditor, and again, accumulated losses are recognized up to the cost of investment. The JV Power Plant Performance Improvements Limited is under liquidation and has not been consolidated with the full equity investment already provided for.
So, while the opinion is unmodified, those emphasis of matter paragraphs and the reliance on unaudited JV data for BGGTS are quite significant for investors to note. Based on all this, what's the outlook for BHEL?
Disclaimer: we advise investors to check with certified experts before making any investment decisions. BHEL has shown a strong recovery in profitability in FY25, especially in the latter half. The order book and execution in the power and industry segments will be key. However, the issues highlighted in the emphasis of matter paragraphs, particularly the significant receivables where provisions haven't been made and the profit boost from changing provisioning practice, do cast a shadow. If these receivables face provisioning in the future, it could impact profitability. The reliance on unaudited financials for a key JV in the consolidated results is another point of attention. The core operational improvement is positive, but these financial reporting nuances need careful consideration.
So, to summarize, BHEL's Q4 and full year FY25 show improved operational numbers with higher revenues and a significant jump in profits, both at standalone and consolidated levels. The dividend declaration is a positive sign for shareholders. However, the auditor's emphasis of matter on substantial unprovided receivables and a change in provisioning policy affecting profits are key concerns. The performance of its JVs, especially BGGTS, will also be important for the consolidated picture.
Exactly. A mixed bag in terms of clear operational improvement versus some crucial financial reporting considerations that investors should dig into. The underlying business seems to be on an upswing, but the quality of reported earnings needs to be viewed in light of those notes and auditor comments.
Thanks for that detailed breakdown of BHEL's FY25 results. A lot for investors to consider. And for our viewers, if you found this analysis helpful, please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon for more financial insights.